This meeting is called to order. I'd like to welcome each of you here this evening to the October 14th, 2013 meeting of the Caldwell County Board of Education. We know that many of you are here for the honors and recognitions, and we look forward to sharing it with you here shortly. First thing on the agenda is the invocation, and I'd like to recognize Board Member Linda Coffey for that.
Thank you, Chairman Darrell. If everyone will bow their heads, I will pray. Lord, we are meeting this afternoon to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance tonight. Amen.
Amen. Next, we have two fifth grade students from Whitnell Elementary School to do our Pledge of Allegiance. If they would come forward, Timothy Henson and Isaac Robbins. And if everyone would please stand. You may be seated. Thank you, Timothy and Isaac, for being here with us this evening. Next on the agenda for this evening is the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'd like to recommend to the board that we delete item 10A1. We'll have to take that up in November.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve the agenda as has been amended?
I move that we approve the agenda as been amended.
Second. Any questions or any comments or any additions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is the approval of the minutes, and the board has had an opportunity to review the minutes of our September 9th, 2013 regular board meeting. Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes of that meeting as they have been presented?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion we approve the minutes of the September 9th, 2013 meeting.
Second.
All right, any comments? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion passes. Next is the honors and recognitions. So we're going to move right into that, and I have one that I'm going to move down here, and as soon as I read this resolution, then I would invite the board to come down at that point. Or actually, you can go ahead and come on down, and we want to welcome those principals that are here. This is a resolution recognizing the month of October 2013 as National Principals Month. Whereas the National Association of Secondary School Principals and the National Association of Elementary School Principals have declared the month of October 2013 to be National Principals Month. Whereas principals are educational visionaries, instructional and assessment leaders, disciplinarians, community builders, budget analysts, facilities managers, and administrators of legal and contractual obligations. Whereas principals work collaboratively with teachers and parents to develop and implement a clear mission, high curriculum standards, and performance goals. Whereas principals create school environments that facilitate great teaching and learning and continuous school improvement. Whereas the vision, actions, and dedication of principals provide the mobilizing force behind any school reform effort. And whereas Caldwell County has the best principals in the nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Caldwell County Board of Education recognizes the month of October 2013 as National Principals Month and honors the contributions of principals in the elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools of Caldwell County by supporting the goals and ideals of National Principals Month, and encourages that the citizens of Caldwell County celebrate National Principals Month with appropriate gratitude for their leadership in making sure that every child has access to a high-quality education. Adopted this, the 14th day of October 2013. We want to truly thank all of the principals that we have in Caldwell County. We are very proud of our school system, and we know the job that our principals do. So we would like to ask those that are here to come forward. The board would like to shake your hand, and we know that some of the principals are having to do school functions tonight and for one reason or another could not be here. But those principals that are here, if you would please come forward. We would like for you to come up, and we would like to say thank you personally.
You guys stand, take a picture. Wow, we got a full house of them. All right. Let me get a picture of Josh.
Josh has the camera.
All right, since there's so many, we're going to do a real quick picture of all of our principals because we are extremely proud of them and our assistant principals. So let's see how well they can take orders and getting how they can take the leadership here and getting a picture where everyone can be in it. Which means, Andy, I think you'd have to be in the back. All right.
Let's go. Right.
Yeah, because here you go. There, it's perfect right there. There you go. All right. Hey, Dottie, you go that way. Hey,
Everybody's good.
Part of Dottie was cutting off Dr. Hall there. There we go. There we go. That's good.
One more, guys. And lady. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
And at this time, I'd like to turn the rest of the recognitions and honors over to our Community Relations Director, Libby Brown.
Chairman Pennell, board members, and Dr. Stone, it's always a pleasure to recognize talented and creative students throughout the school district whose artwork has been selected by school art teachers. And those teachers have recommended those art pieces to the Education Center to be displayed in the Education Center Art Gallery. And the art pieces that you enjoyed before this meeting, they will be on display the entire month of October. So we do invite you to come back at your leisure and to really get the full measure of those art pieces that are on display. As I call the students' names, we would definitely like to recognize you and your creative artistic talents. So please come forward as I call your name. Bayton Elementary School, Seth Hensley, first grade. Art teacher is Jenny Green, and principal is Jason Tiefteller.
When you come up, you have to stay up here for a while so we can get your picture and take
Oh, yes,
everybody's
yes.
name.
We definitely want to recognize you. Davenport A+ School, Eris Mueller, second grader. Cameron Mooney, third grade. Carly Owens, first grade. Art teacher is Dabney Smith, and principal is Julia Knight. Dudley Shoals Elementary. Grayson Chambers, first grade. Madison Fryer, third grade. Destiny Goebel, kindergarten student. Alexis Buchanan is the art teacher, and principal is Gwen Roop. Okay.
We're going to break for
Yes.
pictures, so if you would like to move around to get a better angle, we will stay up here and smile with these students until the camera stops. So
It's a
feel free to
Kodak
move to the
moment.
middle.
Yeah.
All right. You all know how Johnny did. All right, we'll keep, you guys got to keep smiling until you see no more cameras. All right, is that it?
Wait,
Oh, one
Megan
more.
wants one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have more students to recognize. West Lenore Elementary School, we have Nehemiah Fox, second grade. We have Juan Romero Garcia, second grade. And we have Ariana Rhodes, second grade. Okay. Melissa Jarzewski is the art teacher. Principal is Christy Holler. And then we have Whitnell Elementary School. We have Abby Kohler Britton, and she's second grade. We have Gavin Hefner, second grade. And we have Morgan Johnson, fifth grader. Okay, and David Hefner is the art teacher, and principal is Andy Berry. Okay, we have one more. We have a middle school and one high school.
Let's do those.
You want, okay?
Well, no, I think they'll be too big. You're right.
Okay, we'll just keep it with elementary.
All right, come on, take pictures. All right. Wow, what a great looking group.
Yes. Very handsome.
Gotta make us look great. All right, hold on, hold on. All right. Stick up one next to it. All right. Wait, one more, okay. Here we go. You like smiling.
Thank you. Now Now we have a middle school student from William Lenore Middle School. Tyler Smith is a 7th grade student at William Lenore. Wiley Akers is the art teacher, and principal is Lisa Vaughn. And for West Caldwell High School, we have Stephanie Rodriguez, and Stephanie is a junior at West Caldwell High School. Kevin Abey is the art teacher, and the principal is Jeff Link. Don't let me get in your way, okay? Go ahead.
You can come in the middle if you like, or?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Julie? Okay. Thank you, parents, for being here tonight and supporting your budding artists. And again, I encourage you to continue to come back to the Ed Center in October. Enjoy those art pieces. Okay, if you have Lawrence. Okay. All right, our next student is a high school student at South Caldwell High School. Lauren Owens is a senior at South Caldwell High School, and Lauren has been selected as a semifinalist in the 2014 National Merit Scholarship Program. The National Merit Scholarship Program honors individual students who show exceptional academic ability and potential for success in rigorous college studies. Lauren is actually the only semifinalist in Caldwell County who has been selected, and she'll be competing among 8,000 high school students across the United States for the Merit Scholarship. So we are very proud of Lauren. We wish her the best of luck in getting that, but just to get to this point is a great accomplishment. So Lauren, if you will come forward for your certificate.
All right, Lauren, you gotta get her next look good.
You're the center of attention.
Everything is coastal now somewhere.
Congratulations, Lauren. Okay. Now we're going to turn our attention for the last honorees tonight to our schools. And they are definitely deserving of recognition tonight. 6 of the Caldwell County schools, they have received the Title I Reward School Recognition for 2013-2014. And this is a distinction that only about 160 in North Carolina can say that they are a reward school. And so that says great things about these 6 schools who will be coming forward in just a few minutes. Those 6 schools are Bayton Elementary, Collettsville School, Davenport A+ School, Happy Valley School, William Lenore Middle, and Whitnall Elementary School. And these schools have been designated as North Carolina Title I Reward Schools. Why? Because these schools are eligible in North Carolina for this special distinction. They have been selected based on academic performance, and they've also been selected on academic progress. So we're very, very proud of them, and as they come forward, and they're coming forward right behind me, congratulations to Principals Jason Tiefteller with Bayton Elementary, Craig Styron, Collettsville School, Julia Knight, Davenport A+ School, Chad Smith, Happy Valley, Lisa Vaughn, William Lenore Middle School, and Andy Berry, Whitnell Elementary School. And we want Lisa Widener to come up also. Lisa is the Title I director who really manages that program in the school district. So we're grateful for her work and her efforts. So if you see these 6 principals and you have an opportunity to say thank you or congratulations, you need to do that because that's yeah, after they get the picture.
All right.
Would you like to say anything? Okay, go ahead.
Come on in and join us then. All right. There's enough of us up here we can. All right. Congratulations to all schools.
Seeing everybody. Got everybody, I think, yep. Let's go. You can. Perfect. Mr. Stein's here right there.
We need Todd to run those.
Congratulations. And we look forward to having a couple of these back, possibly next month for Title I Distinguished School. Yes, so we look forward to that. Thank you.
We know that many of you probably have not had dinner, and many of the students that are here tonight probably haven't had an opportunity to do their homework. You're welcome to stay for our meeting, but now would be an appropriate time if you needed to leave. We truly do thank you for being here tonight and supporting Caldwell County Schools. Thank you so much.
I've been close to one the whole time. Did not know that.
Take care.
I was looking to get out. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you. Let me know when you hear something.
Thomasville's here. Oh, yeah, okay.
Some of the other folks are the assistant principal trainees are in the AP program, so one of the requirements is that they attend the board meetings.
Some of them may be like some.
Okay, let's move on with the agenda, and the next item is public comment, and we have received no public comment. So we will move on to, at this point, recognize Dr. Stevenson, our superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Just a real quick for your board information, and all of you know this already, but I could not pass up an opportunity to thank our county commissioners. Last Monday night, I presented a plan for a matching grant for 3 SRO officers to our local county government, and unanimously they approved that request for $42,000 for salaries and $20,000 for the additional materials that needed to be used for that. So I just wanted to let our community know and our board know that our county commissioners have really stepped up when it comes to school safety. What we would like to do, if we get the grant, because they've indicated that they will match, we would like to to use 3 additional SROs, one which would be devoted to the K-8 schools. They would rotate around to the K-8s. The other would be devoted to making Hudson Middle and Granite Falls Middle have a full-time SRO officer. And the third would be devoted to those elementary schools that aren't close to a municipality that has a police department, such as Lenore, but they'll be flexible. They'll be able to go around. So with the addition of 3 SRO officers, possibly 4, the town of Sawmills has requested that they step forward with the possible grant match as well. So I do want to thank our county commissioners for that, and it was unanimous, and they were very complimentary of the school board and the school system, and obviously they chose to invest in it. So if you see a county commissioner, and to the public, if you will help us to thank our county commissioners for their support of the public school system. That's not the relationship a lot of counties enjoy with their county commissioners, but we certainly have a phenomenal one. So just wanted to share that and thank the county commissioners publicly. I'll move on to item B, and that is board policy 4251-6131, which is the do not resuscitate order. And in a nutshell, that basically says that as a school system, we will not honor the do not resuscitate. We have received 2 public comments on that. The first one you probably all read in the news topic. That was I'm not exactly sure who the person was, but the gist of their conversation was that the doctors have already made that tough decision. Schools should honor it. We did also receive a public comment, and you have this in your red folder, from a parent, and the parent made several points. One, but in favor of the do not resuscitate policy, the psychological effect on students, the second point, putting our school staff members in the position to have to make that call, and the other 2 points basically is that really is a family and a doctor's prerogative they should be the ones who deal with that the public school system should not. So 2 public comments, 1 in favor, 1 against. I am recommending that the board approve board policy 4251-6131, the do not resuscitate orders policy.
Do I hear a motion that we approve policy 4251-6131, the do not resuscitate order?
I move that we approve policy 4251-6131, which is the do not resuscitate order.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Does anybody have any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My last item is an administrative recommendation, and I would like to recommend Ms. Renee Clark to serve as the interim principal of Oak Hill School until June 30th, 2014. This will give us a little bit more opportunity to increase the field of candidates for the position, but Renee is doing a phenomenal job for us there. She loves it. From all accords, the community likes her as well. I think she's doing great work for us there, so I would like to recommend, and she has agreed, Renee Clark, interim principal, Oak Hill School, until June 30th, 2014, starting date as interim October the 15th, 2013.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve Renee Clark as the interim principal at Oak Hill School, effective October 15, 2013, and running through June 30, 2014?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Renee Clark as the interim principal at Oak Hill School for her tenure to remain until the 30th of June.
Second.
Second. Any comments?
I just
Questions?
comment that the time that she has spent there and previously, she seemed to have really gained the respect and support and had played a vital role there at Oak Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just very, very fortunate that she is able and willing to return there and continue the good work that she performed when there previously.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And Mr. Chairman, if I can make note that we do have several Oak Hill staff and parents here. We are continuously going to be looking for a full-time principal, but we thought Renee would be a great way to segue over until the principal can be named. So I know you all like Renee. She absolutely loves you all. She begged us to let her continue. So I promise you, though, our commitment to Oak Hill is still there, and we'll make sure that we get you the best possible when we fill the position permanently.
Thank you, Dr. Stone. Next on the agenda is our Associate Superintendent for Human Resource Services, Dr. Trish Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I have several items for your attention this evening. Exhibit 4 includes usual and customary personnel items requiring no action but for your information only. Exhibit 5 includes usual and customary personnel items requiring action. I respectfully recommend approval of these items as they have been presented to you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the usual and customary personnel matters.
Is there a second? Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
One last item, Exhibit 6, student transfer recommendations. Since the last board meeting, we received 39 requests for transfers. Of the 39, all 39 meet established criteria. Therefore, we respectfully recommend approval of the 39 requests. If approved, that will bring the total transfer approval for the year 2013-14 to 529. I respectfully recommend approval of these transfers.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2012-2013 student transfers as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the 2013-2014 student transfers for the month of October as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to Carla Miller, who is our Finance Director.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I have 3 budget amendments for your consideration tonight. They are behind Exhibit 8 in your handout. Budget amendment number 1 is to the State Public School Fund. It increases the State Public School Fund by $169,633. We received allocations for Program 29, EC Behavioral Support, Program 63, EC Special Allocation. We did some ABC transfers for AIG, Certified Staff, CTE, and textbook purchases. And we also transferred funds between the purpose function codes to allocate funding for bus drivers at the, or bus monitors at the alternative school. Budget amendment number 2 is to the local current expense fund for $45,000, and that is allocating funding for our partnership and with the hand-in-hand day treatment program and focused behavioral health. Budget amendment number 3 is to the federal grants fund, and it's pretty significant. It's an increase of $2,950,206, and we received approvals for our Program 60 EC Title 6B budget and our Program 156 Race to the Top budget. Race to the Top does end this year. And I respectfully request that you approve these budget amendments.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion that we approve the budget amendments to the State Public School Fund, the Local Current Expense Fund, and the Federal Expense Fund?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the budget amendments to the State Public School Fund, the Local Current Expense Fund, the Federal Grants Fund as presented tonight.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Any comments? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is board information, and actually, the board has been pretty busy here. As you can see, we have Linda Coffey, who is going to speak to the school law symposium that she attended.
Yes, it was based on school law, and we all know that it's very, very changing, and a lot of people are in opposition of the new rules. And North Carolina Republican Governor Pat McCrory signed into law a sweeping set of free market-inspired education reforms, including a $20 million voucher program and an end to teacher tenure, that are being watched by budget-minded policymakers nationwide. The new legislation cuts spending on education by $482 million over the next 2 years, amid a series of tax cuts designed to spur business growth, and puts an end to mandatory pay step increases for teachers who earn master's degree. Any teacher who has not attained career status by 2013 or 14 cannot obtain career status. Teachers new to the system, newly hired, even those who had career status at another system, cannot be career status, and shall be offered only one-year contracts. Teachers with 3 consecutive years can receive contracts up to 4 years until 2018-2019. Except for qualifying teachers, 25% provision. And that was discussed at the training too, that about the 25% that is included in here. And the superintendent will have to be the one who actually looks at the teachers and determines who will be in that 25%. And they will get 4-year contracts. And teachers eligible for 4-year contracts have to be employed at least 3 consecutive years, who are effective as demonstrated by teacher evaluation instrument. Some discussion on principles that might favor one teacher over another, fairness. That was discussed too, because the teacher will be chosen by that principal and then recommended to the superintendent. And the board will have the final decision on the teachers as to how much contract that they actually get. Superintendent can recommend 2 years, 4, whatever, but if the board, for whatever reason, would determine that that person should have a less or more, then the board has that capability of doing that with the new laws. And it was also on school safety, which is very interesting, and they are going to be allowing money for more SROs and hopefully more volunteers, and that will be people who have experience already in the police department or some type of employment like that. And all schools will have to have a buzzer and have it connected to the police department, and I think they're requiring 2 years, twice a year for all schools to be working with the police department in their particular area and do those drills. So it was quite interesting. They are, and there can be bars or anything on the doors of the windows, and everybody will be being buzzed in because for safety reasons. And it was really interesting. It was on all the laws, and there is a lot of laws that are being changed now, and we don't like them all or agree with them, but they have been put out, so we're going to have to deal with them. But it don't look good. Education funding is being cut, and services for teachers and supplies and other things are cut. Tests are becoming harder, and they expect more from the teachers with less materials and things to work with. And it's sort of depressing in a way, and there's a lot of discussion, so there may be some change, and hopefully there will be. But it was really interesting to see how the laws are changing, and on the no longer have a career status. So it was a good conference.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Coffey. Next, we have Dwayne Knight, who attended the High School Athletic Association meeting.
I did. Wednesday, September 18th, I attended the North Carolina High School Athletic Association District 7 meeting in North Wilkesboro. Caldwell County was very well represented. Assistant Superintendent Jeff Church was there. South Caldwell Principal Mike Peak and his athletic director Jeff Parham was there, along with West Caldwell Principal Jeff Link and his AD Stephen McMasters, and High Brighton Principal David Caldwell and the athletic director Chuck Cannon was there. So we were very well represented. 2013 marks the 100th year of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, so they're going to celebrate all year long, starting in January and ending this December, so it's going to span 2 school years. With that, they're acknowledging 100 male athletes, 100 female athletes, 100 administrators, and 100 coaches of the last 100 years in North Carolina. I went over the list, and I read them all. And I found 2 Caldwell County names in there, so I said at this point we didn't want to have more than that. The administrator, Caldwell County native and High Brighton graduate, Jack Hogue, who coached at Lenore High School and at West Caldwell, and also was a principal at High Brighton. We had no coaches, no female athletes. We did have a male athlete. You might have heard of this guy. His name is Madison Bumgarner.
Yes.
He was MVP of the 2007 4A Baseball Championship and is also Gatorade Player of the Year for North Carolina that year. And the game was played in Zebulon, and I was there. Not only was he the winning pitcher, he also hit an inside the park home run to win the game. So hats off to Madison McGuire, who has 2 World Series rings and was named on the All-Star team this year. All right, that's Madison McGuire. All right, clinic dates for next year, all you coaches in attendance might want to mark this down. July 21 through 24, 2014. If a player is ejected from a game, the coach has to watch or take a course, Star Sportsmanship. The coach has to take it, and there is a $7 fee for that. If a player is ejected for fighting, the coach has to take a course, teaching and modeling behavior, and that's a $20 fee. So, therefore, the coaches are going to take responsibility for the player's actions. If there's any health reason for the player, he has to have a return to play form, has to be updated on the website and signed by a medical doctor. In any case of emergency during a game or practice, each team must have an emergency action plan updated in place so everyone knows the roles in case of an emergency. Everyone that is not a teacher in school must take must take a fundamental coaching course, and that's beginning in August of 2015, and the price of that is $35. For all you booking agents, you're not called booking agents anymore, you're called a regional supervisor. There's summer dead periods. These are periods where coaches and players cannot play. That's July 30th through July 6th, and also July 21 through July 24th. Last thing, for all you officials in attendance, 2014, 2015, you're getting a 10% increase in pay. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. We appreciate that.
And just an aside, Mr. Knight, too, I believe Pepper Hines is going to be in the county. Isn't he with the Athletic Association? He'll be in the county on October the 31st from 10 o'clock, a couple hours, visiting the county. He might want to see you again. October 31st, 10 o'clock.
And where's he going to be?
I think he wants to walk around with Jeff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is this Halloween?
Okay, next, the board attended the North Carolina School Boards Association District 7 meeting, and I'm going to recognize Joe Sims, who's going to speak to some of the events of that day, and then afterwards, if anybody had any, thing they wanted to add, then certainly feel free. Mr. Sims?
Thank you, Chairman. We did, on the 25th of September, the entire board and Dr. Stone attended the North Carolina School Board District 7 meeting. It was held at Ashe County High School. The meeting lasted from 3:45 to around 8:15. This was my first opportunity to go to a district meeting, and it was very informative. A lot of topics were covered. Our own Miss Dottie Darcy is a member of the North Carolina School Board Administration Center, and she was one of the speakers at the meeting. After that, that was a general session, and we had an opportunity after that had a break, and then we could go to breakout sessions. There's 4 different ones, and I'm just going to speak briefly on the one that I attended. It was the, and I'm going to read it because I want to make sure I get all of it in. It was Ashe County Schools Philosophy of Inclusion for Exceptional Children. And just a few of the notes on there, and I'm sure our school system does things a little differently with the EC children, but one of the first things the teachers said was they're teaching because they love students, and I see that in our county. I really do. I see that in our whole school staffs, everyone I've ever spoken to. That's what they're there for. But for the EC children, a couple of philosophies the teachers had. There was one from a middle school, and I think the other was from the high school there. But speaking of the children, their conclusion is we're all in the same boat, and they had a philosophy written up. It says if you want people with you when you land, they have to be there when you take off. And that was their philosophy for these children that they taught. They do 3 things to get the children involved, not just in that class, but the entire school. They have a student involvement. They did a musical. The entire school did it. They had the EC children in it. They had a video. They showed us some little clips of it. And it was amazing how loving the entire school was of each other. Not just the EC kids, but of all those involved. Then they get the teachers involved. Not only the EC teachers, but all the teachers throughout the school. If there was a way that they can involve the math or the science department in their EC program, they did it. To get everybody on the same boat as they were talking about. And the last thing they do is a community involvement. They get businesses, they had the businesses to support the musical that the school did. So it involves all the groups. And, you know, it was really impressive to me. As I said, though, I see that within our schools, and I just appreciate what y'all do and appreciate the opportunity to get to go to the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sims. Anybody have any comments they want to add?
I'll just add, in regard to the session regarding the inclusion, one thing was very, very strong there that we focus on too, as much as we can in Caldwell County, and that is the use of technology to try to meet the students where they are and take them forward and find out what their interests really are, and in whatever ways that we can with technology or music or art or whatever to move them forward. And I was pleased to realize that, as Joe's really saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that actually our teachers, as well as these teachers, realize that you have to go out of the box as much as you can to grasp what it is that's going to make a difference in the individual lives of all these students served, so that all of them can experience success. So it's being forever watchful and careful to see just what all of our children need, so that we can meet them where they are and move them forward, and create a love in them for school as you show them that you love them as individuals. It's extremely important. That's all.
Anyone else? Very good. We had a good time. We learned a lot, and we enjoyed our trip up the mountain and back down. So
We got some good cheese, and I didn't know they made cheese up there.
Yeah.
Cheese,
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
delicious.
So very good meeting that we all attended.
We also got a Dr. Pepper, and I know why. They manufacture, I mean, they have a Dr. Pepper plant up there, so that's why we got the Dr. Pepper.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'll try to figure that out.
You didn't get a Dr. Pepper?
No, I got one, but my kids got it.
Okay, next on the agenda is announcements. Our board work session will be the 28th of October. That'll be at 3 o'clock at High Brighton High School in the Panther Den. And at 6 o'clock, we will follow that up with a community board meeting there in the High Brighton High School auditorium. And that will be at 6 o'clock. Our next board meeting here in this room will be the November meeting, and that will be on the 4th, 2013. Normally we would meet on the second Monday, but a number of us will be going to the state meeting, which conflicts with that date, so we will be having our Board of Education meeting on November the 4th, 2013. Art reception at 5:45 and the meeting to follow at 6. Any other announcements that anyone needs to make? Do I hear a motion that the board go into closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-310, 111A3, to discuss pending litigation.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We do not expect any action to be taken, and we will be back out to adjourn shortly, but thank you for being here this evening. Have a great evening.